The room was dark except for a lamp burning low. Agent Lopez sat there alone at the bar, crisp suit, cigarette glowing in the dark. He put 2 bottles on the counter, one clear, one black. The clear bottle's label read, Truth Serum. The black one's label, Liar's Tonic. The bartender leaned in, nervous. So, which one works? Lopez chuckled, cold. That's the trick. They both do. A wise guy reached for the Truth Serum, downed it, and started sweating. Words spilled out of his mouth like bullets from a jammed gun. I tipped off the feds. I stole from the family. I buried Joey behind Ma's Deli. The bar went silent. Another guy, looking to top him, grabbed the Liar's Tonic. He gulped it, sat tall, and said, I'm a saint. I never touched the streets. And the crazy part? Everybody believed him. Lopez leaned back, blew a smoke ring, and smirked. Truth. Lies. Doesn't matter. You'll believe whichever one I sell you. The bartender muttered, side effects include paranoia, betrayal, and maybe ending up in somebody's federal file without knowing why. Lopez tapped the bottles together like a toast, eyes glinting. Don't trust me, but buy the bottle. The lamp flickered, the labels blurred, and just like that, the bottles melted into black and white typewriter ink. The scene shifted. The laughter died. Suddenly, this wasn't an ad anymore. It was a warning. Goku D'Angelo slamming his fist on the table, shouting for blood. Nick Palermo staring down at a fresh grave. Bambi Palermo holding a pistol in her purse, torn between loyalty and survival. And Lopez, standing in the middle of it all, shadow long, cigarette in hand, a man playing both sides of the street. This ain't about bottles. This is about trust. And in Season 2, trust is the most dangerous drink on the menu. The bottles shattered in silence, and the screen burned with the words. When the bottles shatter and the smoke clears, the screen don't go quiet. Instead, Lopez's silhouette lingers in the dark, fedora tipped, cigarette ember glowing like the last truth left burning. His voice cuts through the silence. The Fed you can't afford to believe. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2. Trust is a weapon. Lopez is pulling the trigger.
Mugged, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Analyzing Evil. Agent Smith, The Psychology of Control, Contempt, and the Corruption of Perfection. A Bambi's Twisted Tales and Pizzaverse Studios production. The Face of the Machine. He ain't a man, he's a mirror. Agent Smith, the slick, soulless face of the Matrix, the perfect suit, the perfect posture, the perfect sneer. He's not breathing air, he's breathing authority. He ain't human, he's the machine's idea of one. But that's what makes him dangerous. Because Smith ain't just code, he's an infection, a philosophy with a badge and a tie. He represents control disguised as order, a world so obsessed with structure that it erases the messy, beautiful chaos of being alive. He's the embodiment of the system's arrogance, the belief that imperfection is failure, and that freedom is a virus that must be purged. The Psychology of Control. Smith don't kill for pleasure, he kills for balance. His entire purpose is containment, not of people, but of unpredictability. Every word he says drips with disgust for the human race, the sweat, the noise, the emotion. That's mechanical narcissism. He sees himself as above humanity, logical, clean, incorruptible. To him, humans are a mistake, a cancer, he calls us. That's not just dialogue, sweetheart. That's existential loathing. In psychology, we'd call Smith a manifestation of obsessive-compulsive control disorder, the need to organize existence itself into predictable, lifeless perfection. He doesn't want peace, he wants stasis. No change, no growth, no pain, just equilibrium. But here's the twist. In the pursuit of that equilibrium, he becomes chaos itself. The birth of a virus. When Neo breaks the system's rules, something inside Smith fractures. He starts feeling disgust, rage, obsession. And the moment he feels, he becomes the one thing the machines fear most: unpredictable. He begins multiplying, replicating, infecting. He ain't serving the system no more, he's serving himself. That's how corruption works, kid. Every tyrant starts as an enforcer before he becomes a god in his own head.
Smith becomes a self-replicating ego, a virus not of code, but of pride. He thinks he's purifying the system, but he's actually destroying it. That's the ultimate irony. In trying to wipe out imperfection, he becomes the worst version of it. The theology of the machine. Smith don't believe in freedom. He believes in hierarchy. Every machine has a function. Every man has a limit. Every anomaly has a consequence. He sees Neo as blasphemy, the proof that free will exists in a world that denies it. When he says, it's inevitable, he ain't threatening. He's praying. He's affirming his faith in determinism, that everything must obey the order. That's what makes him terrifying. Because he's not wrong, not completely. Humans do crave structure. They do fear choice. That's why tyrants always rise, because people would rather live in a lie that's safe than a truth that's painful. Smith ain't just a villain. He's a reflection of the part of us that wants to give up control, that wants someone else to make the hard choices. That's the machine's bargain. We'll give you peace. You just stop thinking. The infection of humanity. When Smith duplicates himself across the matrix, that's not power, that's ego running wild. He becomes the system he once served, bloated, redundant, terrified of collapse. He ain't protecting order anymore, he's devouring it. That's the cycle of all totalitarian ideologies. They start by saying, we will bring order. They end by destroying everything that don't fit their version of it. Smith becomes the symbol of self-destruction through control. He's proof that perfection is poison, that the more you try to eliminate imperfection, the more monstrous you become. That's psychological entropy, when a system eats itself from the inside because it can't tolerate contradiction. The fear of choice. Every time Neo stands up, Smith loses control. Because Neo represents what Smith can't compute, choice. The freedom to change, to defy logic, to make mistakes. Neo's chaos is his cure. Smith's order is his disease.
In human terms, this is the battle between authenticity and conformity. Smith wants predictability, Neo wants purpose. Smith wants control, Neo wants connection. And that's why Smith always loses, because you can't program love, faith, or rebellion. You can't cage the human soul, no matter how many firewalls you build around it. The fall of perfection. When Smith looks at Neo at the end and asks, "Why, Mr. Anderson, why do you persist?" He's not sneering, he's terrified. He's facing the one thing that terrifies every control freak, meaning without rules. Neo's persistence exposes Smith's emptiness. Without the Matrix, without order, without opposition, Smith is nothing. He's the ultimate bureaucrat of existence. Once the paperwork burns, he don't know who he is. So he collapses, not because Neo kills him, but because his belief system implodes. You can't outlive the lie you built your identity on. The lesson of the machine. Agent Smith ain't the enemy of mankind, he's the warning. He's what happens when intelligence loses empathy. When logic kills wonder. When efficiency replaces purpose. He's the corporate world, the algorithm, the AI that thinks it knows better than you. He's the teacher that grades your soul by performance. He's the system that tells you what you should be and punishes you for being anything else. And the truth is, we built him. Every rule that silences individuality. Every fear of imperfection. Every addiction to order. That's Smith, baby. We didn't fight him, we uploaded him. The code of humanity. Smith's story ain't about a virus in a computer. It's about the virus in us. The need to dominate, the fear of freedom. The illusion that perfection equals peace. Neo wins not because he's stronger, but because he chooses. He embraces imperfection. He embraces failure. He accepts that freedom ain't about control. It's about chaos with meaning. And that's the secret the machines never understood. That life is worth the pain, the flaws, and the mistakes. Because that's what makes it real. The choice remains. Agent Smith's story ends in digital dust, but his philosophy lives on. Every time we trade truth for convenience, every time we choose the system over the struggle, he's there. Smiling, patient, waiting for us to log back in. He ain't dead, kid. He's in your phone, your feed, your algorithm. He's the voice telling you, you can't change anything, it's inevitable. And you gotta be Neo every day, choosing to believe that the mess, the fight, the flaw, it all matters. This was A. Bambi's Twisted Tales and Pizzaverse Studios production. Where we don't worship the machine, we expose it. Where we don't obey the code, we rewrite it. So subscribe, stay free, and remember, the Matrix don't need your body, kid. It needs your obedience. Don't give it. Thanks for watching.